This is the House of Hockey podcast,
where we talk about the game and the lifestyle.
We've got opinions as hockey fans, friends, and from the female perspective.
Welcome to our house.
Welcome to the House of Hockey podcast. This is episode 183. I'm one of your hosts, Rae. Breezy is on long-term injured reserve, my co-host. And filling in today is our friend and former guest co-host, Alma Laura. Welcome, babe. You've been busy.
Yeah, it's been a busy last couple of weeks.
We've got a lot to catch up on with you. The Kings made the playoffs, and so have you been to how many home games?
2 of the 4. So since they do 2-2, 1-1, I've been at the 2 home games that they've unfortunately lost.
All right. And what's your consensus? Are they going to be able to come back from a 3-1 deficit?
It's doable. And I say that because yesterday, aside from it being a 1-0 loss, it's the best game that they've played the entire series, let alone in a long time. It was just a totally different team. We outplayed them in all aspects, but we can't score on the power play, and we just couldn't get one through Skinner, so that gave us a 1-0 loss. And it hurt because you see the team and they played so hard. It was such a good game, and I almost like to lose when, we're blown out, because you're like, well, there's no coming back from a 6-1 deficit, where it's like a 1-0. It's just one, and that one hurt. But I mean, shout out to Mikey, friend of your pod, because my goodness, the energy in that building, people will say this time and time again, that, hockey in LA, it's just, it's not the same that if it is anywhere else. And he kept the energy in that building. It was loud in there. So that sucked. Anything can happen. We've seen some crazy stuff happen in sports. So they're taking the series back to Edmonton, and we're hoping they bring it back for a game 6 on Friday.
All right. Are you going to go if there's a game 6?
Of course.
Of course, she says. Well, I hope they make it a series. I hope they win in Edmonton, because I want to see. I want to see a series. And we've got a lot of 3-1, 2-1 sort of playoff in the first round, and I don't like it when it's 3-1 and then it's over.
Yeah.
So I want it to be a series, but also the first round, you kind of want to just get through it and get to the second round where it really gets intense. So, I'm not cheering for the Kings. I just want it to be a series. So let's just make that clear.
Yeah, we all do. It sucks. I mean, being fans, we're like, oh, Edmonton again. But you know what? Let's hope we can beat them this time. And just Friday's game was so bad. I guess the camera panned out, and I came out on TV, and I get everybody texting me oh my gosh, you look so angry. And I was like, I mean, did you look at the score? There's kind of nothing to be happy about. And I'm the type of person, I can't hide my emotions, my face will always say it all. I hate that about myself sometimes, but I was I couldn't help it. I wasn't happy.
I saw the picture, and if you were watching that game, Alma was behind the bench, and you could see her you were wearing your shiny silver jacket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I saw your face. I was like, oh, she's not happy. But to your point, you shouldn't be happy. I mean, happy that you're behind the bench and there at the game, but internally when your team is losing, what are you supposed to do? Except I'm sure you were cheering when the chants were going, you're trying to get the boys pumped up. And
yeah, and then it was fun. Normally those seats are very hit or miss. Since it's, I guess, the better seats, you don't always get fun fans around you, but the word around the word around that game was that the season ticket holders who owned those seats sold them, and they ended up sitting somewhere else in the arena. So we had nothing but fun fans around us. So it was still a great time. It's just at that very moment, all these fights broke out. Nobody knew what was going on. Us as fans didn't know what was going on. The penalties weren't announced till like 5 minutes later. Everything that had happened, we're like, okay, so this one got it for instigating, this one got for fighting. So that was a mess. Yesterday was a little better. It just sucks we couldn't come out with the win.
Yeah. That's a tough loss to have. I want to hear about your experience in Philly because I don't think we were able to catch up on your experience in Philly, were we?
No, I was
You,
going to the game that night. Yeah,
that's right.
it was fun. Like I always like going to Philly, and I was a little bit scared to go into the building as a fan of the opposing team, but
Which was the
it was a
Devils.
great, yeah, it was a great time. It was fun. We have to normalize men not trying to explain things to us women, because a lot of women are there to watch the game and understand the game very well, especially if our response is, yeah, this is going on and this is going on. We had this man next to us just like, oh my gosh, you should take pictures of this and take pictures of that. I sit here all the time, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just trying to watch my boy. Like, but aside from that,
Please.
like, Philly is always just such a great time. It was
Hmm.
fun. The Simmons retirement ceremony was pretty awesome
Right.
too. Like, that was so cool to be there for. And yeah, it's just Philly's always fun. That game mattered to Philly a lot more than it did to the Devils. They were hoping to win, and then they didn't make the playoffs because they needed help from like everybody. And I don't know, the way things are going, I think Philly would have given, who would they have played?
The Rangers.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Philly. I mean, Philly would might have taken the series maybe 6 games, not get swept.
Yeah. Exactly. That's on our list of topics to discuss. But I'm glad you had a good time. I mean, I guess in Philly, I would rather have somebody mansplaining me things than yelling at me or trying to fight me because I was wearing an opposing team. So I'll take it.
Yeah, it's not that
But
bad. I think the passionate, scary Philly fans are the football fans. That's what I heard. Like, Eagle fans are the ones that are pretty intense, but for the most part it was great. Like, nothing that's gonna keep me away from there, nothing that scared me off.
okay, good. Good. I'm glad you had a good experience and you got to see Timo, who ended up having what was wrong with him? An double ACL injury
Yeah, and he had a
and something else.
and he had shoulder surgery earlier last week.
Crazy.
Yeah, and people
Crazy.
always asked me, like, I mean, I've been watching him play for a handful of seasons, so people were asking me, do you think he's playing injured? And I was like, most definitely. And then he got a little bit of his game back towards the end of the season, but I was like, just something seems off. And to find out that, all these, we touched on it the last time I was a guest, all these players playing through injury, it's just insane. Like, what they put their body through is just crazy, and it makes you appreciate them a little bit more as fans.
For sure. Oh yeah. And we just saw another injury. TJ Oshie was playing through a broken hand.
Yeah, that is
Like we
insane.
and we've seen quite a few injuries this first round of playoffs and some freak injuries. A player got a puck to the head. It's escaping me now what team he was on. I think it was Winnipeg. I
Hmm.
think a Winnipeg player took a puck to the head. That was super scary to see. And then another player got hurt too, in some weird injuries that it's just like, whoa, I don't know. I feel like we don't always expect, we don't see as much of that, I guess, in the playoffs to my recent knowledge. Can you think of any other times that we've seen a lot of like serious injuries like that kind of dramatics in the
Aside
first
from
round?
the only one I could really think of that sticks to mind is the what is it, the Pavelski one when he was with the Sharks that ended up giving the Sharks that 5 minute power play that brought them back to yeah, so
That's
that
right.
aside from that one, like it is just it's still so crazy. I can't
Mhm.
believe it.
Yeah. I didn't even go over some of the topics we're going to cover. We just jumped right in, which we always do. But we're going to talk about the first round of the playoffs. We've got to talk about the Rangers sweeping the Capitals, uh, some potential on ice antics that we are not a fan of, or at least I'm not. We've got to talk about fan icks. Alma's got a new fan ick that we have to discuss. We've got to discuss the Yotes. If you're watching the video, you can see I have got my now vintage Arizona Kite shirt because I wanted to get that and it finally came in the mail. I thought it wasn't going to make it. And then we've got to talk PWHL and a couple other things. So,
Okay.
playoffs round one. Let's start with the biggest headline is that the New York Rangers have advanced out of the first round. They're the only team to sweep and the only team that can sweep in the first round. They swept the Capitals. It was an interesting series because we had the Lindgren brothers facing each other, Charlie and Ryan. And Ryan initially had texted his brother and said, "Talk to you after round one." And Charlie said, "Sounds good." And you saw them having a few words during the handshake line. And you just love to see that extra layer of competition happen. And then Ovechkin was definitely struggling. And he even said he didn't play well. But what I thought was really strange, I think, was that the coach of the Capitals in a press conference said about Ovi that he's struggling right now. And I don't know if that's like a tactical move for the coach to say it publicly to maybe get a fire under Ovi to try to get him to find that drive or whatever it is to really play. He didn't score a single goal in this series, which is unlike him. Maybe we'll find out he has an injury. I'm not so sure, but I don't know that I would want my coach publicly saying that I am struggling right now, like to the press.
Yeah,
That's
that
not very encouraging.
no, that shocked me because I feel like that's just kind of stuff you keep under wraps as a coach, to kind of as a coach, I feel like you're the face of your team. You're the one that's going to protect your guys. So yes, we all see he hasn't scored. We all see he's not the OV we expected to see in the playoffs. So to us be reminded by their actual coach, I feel like maybe it could have been a tactic for it to be like, well, maybe if I publicly say this, it'll get him going. It'll get the rest of the guys going. It'll piss them off to be like, how is he throwing our captain under the bus like that? Let's go ahead and we got to show up and show out for him. But I was really thrown off by that because yes, we've seen coaches say some crazy stuff, but for him to put him down, I think like it's hit or miss too. Like I feel like if my boss went ahead and was like, "Hey, you know what? Alma's not working to the best of the abilities," I don't think that would light a fire under my ass. I think I'd start crying like, oh my gosh, like this is how they feel about me. Like I feel sad, but I was really thrown off by those comments. It didn't rub
Yeah.
me the right way.
Me neither. It was definitely an eyebrow raising, like, okay, well, I mean, props for the coach being transparent and honest with the media, but hockey's got enough cliches in the book that you can divert the conversation away to something else, and just say like, yep, he's doing his best and we're working on it as a team and it's a team sport. And I mean, come on, there's like any number of things you can say. So I really would have preferred to hear something else, but that's exciting for the Rangers. They were the President's Trophy winners, right?
hmm
Do you think the
And
curse is going to stay with them?
I don't know. Like I said, I was talking to this with my friends yesterday because just like New York sports fans, just they're annoying me because I mean, yeah, I live in LA, so we have what is it? The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Kings in the playoffs. But I feel like we're a little bit more like not in your face type of fans, whereas New York, they have the Knicks and the Rangers and the Islanders are in the playoffs. So, oh my gosh, they're the talk of the town, and I can't stand them. But I think as a team, we've seen it time and time again that President's Trophy winners, they're not going to make it, but in this case I feel like they might actually break the curse. It hurts me to say this, and I hope that my Ranger fans don't listen to this part of the podcast, but I have a feeling they might make it all the way. I think if they end up facing the Caps, I think in the next round, I'm the Caps, the Hurricanes, right, in the next round, if the Hurricanes make it, which I think they will. I think that's gonna be their biggest hunch. But I have the Caps. Oh, I keep saying that. I have the Canes
I don't
making it out
know.
of that,
The Canes.
round if they do end up facing each other. So I think that's gonna be their real test. But if they beat the Canes, I feel like I have the Rangers going all the way.
I mean, I think anything is possible. I was trying to pull up the brackets because I can't remember who they would play. I think you're right. I just wanted to check. Yeah, they'll probably end up playing the Canes because the Islanders, while they were able to pull out that win this weekend, which was unreal, to not get blown out of the series, I don't know if they have it in them to take on the Canes beyond one more game. But they extended their opportunity in the playoffs, and I think it's good for their coach, Patrick Waugh, to be able to see what his team can do in the playoffs, coming in, like only less than halfway through the season to take over. So we'll see, but I'm not poo-pooing the Islanders. I just don't know that they're gonna be able to take on this the Hurricanes. What I want to talk about next is Toronto, because first of all, everybody's talking about Toronto, especially in Canada. They're the headline of everything. They took over all my feeds this weekend with all this stuff of what's going on. So we have to talk a little bit about it. But the biggest headline was William Nylander being MIA for the first couple games. And it's been reported that he is suffering maybe migraines due to a concussion. And then when he was asked about it in the media, he was like, that's personal and I don't want to talk about it. So that really threw me off. Like maybe he was just like looking for words to say and that's just what came out. But it was like everybody was giving him a hard time for not playing. And then we've also come now to find out that Austin Matthews is having some sort of difficulty. I'm going to guess that it has something to do with like breathing or something, because he's having a hard time on the ice. He was, quote, sick, and now there's like lingering after effects. And so it's affecting his like stamina on the ice. And then we saw the three of them with Marner going at it on the bench, telling, what did Nylander tell Matthews? This isn't fucking juniors. And I was like, that's so great. They were like totally going at it. And then like the fans were all up in arms though, thinking that like they're not getting along, and they're just handling their business. They're just handling their business. And like, that's what happens. And I just think the spotlight is always on the Leafs too. And for many reasons, because they're all of these very talented players and they're paid a lot of money, and we haven't won a Stanley Cup with them. But I don't know what's going to happen. I don't foresee good things happening unless they can take that energy and shift it into a positive working as a team mentality. I don't know if they're going to make it out of this round. Do you think they're going to make it out of this round?
I had them on my bracket making it out of that round, but it's just Boston. Like they've surprised me. They're not the Boston team from last what is it? They're not the Boston team from last season.
No.
Yes, a lot of similar faces, but they just came out to play hard. Like I feel like what is it? Because they were last year's President Trophy winners, right? I feel like, they were breaking
Yes.
records, all these wins. I feel like that carried the tiredness I feel of the season carried over into the playoffs, and they were just beat, I feel like, by the first round. Whereas this one, I feel like they have something to prove. So they came out to play hard, and then I do see it online. Like people are trying to downplay what is it, Nylander's injuries, and it's like let's not
Mhm.
forget head injuries are very serious. Migraines
Yes.
are very serious. Migraines aren't just a simple headache where you can just take Tylenol and it's gonna take it away. Like no kind of
Mhm.
medication takes away the migraine. And let's not forget, Nolan Patrick never got a clear shot at the NHL because he dealt with what is it migraines dealing with concussions. Like he got a
Mhm.
handful of games, never got a full shot at it because of that he had to retire early. And it's like, so we
Right.
can't downplay this kind of stuff. Only the players know what they're going through. Same thing with Matthews. Like I'm pretty sure
Right.
he wants to give it 110% out there, and the fact that his body's not letting him, it sucks. I know that a lot
Yeah.
of that, to us fans, it's funny to watch these guys bicker like children, like
Right.
toddlers on the bench. It's funny. And then their chirps make me laugh because it's like,
Yes.
again, it's like children. You're watching toddlers just fight each other. But I feel like that's just the frustration. We all get frustrated. We see it. I
Mhm.
saw it with my team on Friday. I saw them throw tantrums, shutting doors. That's the beauty of sitting behind the bench, and that's why I do it. You see them kicking stuff and you hear F bombs, and it's just that frustration. So I think that that's a
Mhm.
lot that we saw, and this is going to go either one of two ways. There's no doubt the team gets along. They have really great team chemistry. We see it
Yes.
on TikTok, all these videos that get posted. That I don't think they have a problem there. Now it's gonna go
No.
one of two things, like you said. This frustration is gonna carry onto the ice, and maybe it goes ahead and just what is it? They start playing, it translates into that, or they're gonna continue to bicker, and it's just gonna be another toddler fest on the bench next time they play. But I think it's
Yeah.
just
And I think
it's frustrating.
and that's where I think the coaching element, especially with this team, I think it'll be interesting to see if the coach can pull this team through this and like really get them to be on each other's side. And it might be a combination of things with the injuries on some of these star key players. But that's the thing, like the teams that win Stanley Cups and the ones who do it really well are where all the lines are firing and not just your top line. So if your
Mm-hmm.
top line's down or being shut down either defensively or physically with ailment, you've got three other lines that are going to be able to carry you through and be able to score and be there as a full team. So it can't just be that top line's chemistry. It's got to be that whole team effort. So if the coach can't get them to perform like the whole team, not just those stars,
Well, well, I
then
tell I tell people that I feel like that's why Vegas was very successful last season,
yeah,
because it wasn't just the top line scoring, it was everybody. Everybody in that team played a part in, advancing to the next round. It was somebody different every single night. You just didn't hear the top lines scoring. It was everybody. It was legit a team effort, and I feel like that's why they were very, very successful, and that's why they ended up winning in the end. And I've always said that it's got to be the entire team. Yes, you have your top two lines for a reason, you have your top athletes for a reason,
mhm,
but it's got to be a full team effort.
it does. And another piece of that effort comes from the crowd. And this goes to your point of what you were saying about the Kings and how everybody and Mikey, the in arena host, and Kayla and everybody there was really being proactive and cheering and everything. And I guess at the Leafs games, Joe Bowen, one of the broadcasters, I believe, for the Leafs, had tweeted that Leafs fans need to be proactive and that tonight's crowd was disappointing. And he said it because the players can't say it. And I think the fans have to get over the disappointment of all of the years past, right? Leafs fans have been so disappointed. They've given it their all. They've talked about how this is their year. This is their year. The Leafs can do it. And I get why they're frustrated in the stands and they're maybe not cheering and getting things going. And they're just waiting and holding their breath for a goal to be scored and a win to be had. But that's not how you rally around your team. And you have to love your team through the good and the bad, and you have to support them no matter what and let that past go. But they're like, if the fans are holding on to the past, just think about the players holding on to the past and the pressure they're feeling. They need that support from the fans.
But I also feel like, just playing devil's advocate here, they should let the people that watch the games outside into the arena, because those fans
Right?
outside watching the game are so passionate. You feel it with them. It is, they want half of your paycheck along with your firstborn to get into that building. And it's like, how? Make it more affordable for the fans. It's no secret that going out to Canada, it's going to be a really, really, really expensive trip, along with just your ticket prices to get into that building. So of course,
Especially Leafs.
if you let the casual passionate fans into the building, I have no doubt it's going to be explosive in there, because outside, I've always said I would love to go to Toronto to watch a game. I don't mind being outside because that crowd gets it going every single game.
Maybe they need to pump the audio from the outside inside. I feel like that's our solution for the Leafs, to get them going and to get the fans going. But it's really disappointing to hear that as a hockey fan,
Mm-hmm.
that the fans in the arena were not there being proactive like they needed to be. And I don't know what their in arena like host and in-game experience is like, but Leafs fans, get behind your team, man. They need you. They need you bad right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure it out, or else you're going to see another first round exit. That's my thoughts there. Another thing that happened that's Leafs related, and I don't know, I think we're going to have another controversial opinion about this, but Max Domi gave a little elbow shot to Swayman, the goalie for the Bruins, during the commercial break. And first of all, it was kind of funny and I felt bad for laughing, but Swayman just totally wiped out. Like, it totally caught him off guard. And maybe he did it for dramatic flair. I don't know. But Swayman went down and there was no penalty, I don't think. Was there a penalty
I don't
to
think
Max Domi
so.
for that? For like
Mm-mm.
a sport, whatever. Well, I would have been pissed if I was a Bruins fan. And I don't know what Marchand did after, but he certainly needed to retaliate against Max Domi, because that was completely uncalled for. And you do not touch the goalie. And you especially don't touch the goalie when he's skating back to the bench. And I was really pissed off about that.
Me too. Well, again, you don't touch the goalie. I stand by that. And if they touch him, your team better retaliate, because that's the man you don't touch. We see it time and time again. That's what ends up starting scruffs. Did
Right.
Swayman? It looked like he kind of just played like he's like, oh my gosh, I'm a soccer player all of a sudden. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
overreact and for the dramatics, but he's hot. You can't blame him for doing that, I guess.
And it's the playoffs. Of course, you throw in that extra flair because, like, you need anything you can get, and that rivalry between them two is so great. But
That
don't
was
touch the
funny.
goalie.
That was
It
funny.
was
I
funny.
saw it. It kept I think somebody reposted it on TikTok, so then I just caught different angles and everybody putting like what is it, voices or like sounds over it. It was funny. I thought it was funny.
It was funny. We haven't talked much about the West besides the Kings, but honestly, those games are too late for this gal here, and I cannot start a game at 10:30 p.m. My anxiety cannot handle it. I would never sleep, and I have real jobs that I have to do during the day, so I don't watch a lot of the West Coast games. But we've got Vegas dominating Dallas right now, but they're hold on. I need to see what the Vegas is leading 2-1, right? They didn't play
Mhm.
yesterday. Okay.
No, they
Oh,
played Saturday. Saturday was a really, really, really good game. I'm glad Dallas was able to pull off the win there. They needed that.
yes. I think those two teams are, I don't know. I feel like this is a Stanley Cup playoff like potential matchup but that's happening in the first round. So I think that series is going to be a little tough. We've also got Winnipeg and Colorado. Colorado's leading 3-1. I don't really think anybody is too surprised by that. And then Vancouver's leading over the Predators 3-1. Also, nobody's really surprised by that, I don't think. I mean, we were surprised that Nashville made it this far. I just don't know if they have the longevity to get through some of these other teams. And the Canucks, who've been playing really well all season. And then, of course, the Oilers, who lead 3-1 against the Kings. Did you see this wacky video of a girl? I don't know. She was probably a celebrity drinking a beer. She can't even drinking beer out of a catfish.
I thought of you when I saw that because I was like, I know you do like a viral video of the week. That's the one I had on my notes, and I was like, this is
Yes.
disgusting. And I know if Rae sees it, she is probably gonna puke a little because we talked about the catfish and the octopus. But oh my gosh, that was so gross. I saw people tweeting, if the Preds lose, we are going to blame her. It is her fault for doing that. That is disgusting. And why?
And
Oh
it
my
didn't.
gosh. It's so
And
gross.
it it was absolutely disgusting and completely unnecessary, and I don't like it, and I'm not here for it. And they poured the beer in, but it came all out of the fish, so she was just drinking fish juice. Gross, old. I hope she gets food poisoning. I mean, I never wish ill on anybody, but like that was wrong on so many levels, and I don't support that at all. Like,
Correct me if I'm wrong. What is it with, maybe because I'm old now, but what is these got you? Oh my gosh, I have to do this for what? For clout, for attention, for
to go viral on social?
your 10 seconds of fame. Like, that is
No,
disgusting. I don't, oh, that was so gross. And I was, it's disgusting. And hey, they lost, so we'll blame her. But yeah, I
exactly.
saw that and I was like, for what? What? What do you gain out of this?
No, no. I like the shoeies that people do where they drink beer out of a shoe. I'm like, we don't have to do that. Nobody has to do this. We don't have to be doing this. It's gross. And like, it's just very unnecessary in my opinion. All of it, out of the catfish, out of a shoe. Just like keep the catfish at home. None of this is okay. There was a bunch of catfish thrown on the ice. I feel terrible for the fish. Like, we have a food crisis going on in our country. Like, let's not be throwing the fish on the ice, okay? Like, get a fake one, please. Like, I
That
think
was gross.
yeah, that was one of the social media viral videos that I saw as well. But since we're here, we'll stay here. My other video was that we finally know one of the star players that's going to be in the new Amazon NHL series where they're doing like behind the scenes, following the players like documentary style. And one of the players is Quinn Hughes. There was cameras reportedly following him around. So we know one of the players, which is kind of exciting because they haven't really made, or at least I haven't seen the announcement on that. So keep your eyes peeled, folks, for that and for more of that to develop, because
And
that
you
is
know
a
what?
must watch.
I feel like good for him because I feel like, again, it's probably because I'm an older fan that I don't see the appeal in the Hughes brothers. Please don't come after me for that. I don't see it. I've said it time and time again.
Yeah,
Jack, all right,
same.
I guess I see it, and then maybe it's because I've watched them play a ton this season. But with Quinn, I was like, I don't see it. Luke is nice. I met him. He's nice, so I guess, but I just don't understand the tween obsession with these boys. But I like that that's one of the choices because I'm like, okay, well maybe now I will be able to see what the appeal is. I will be able to see, maybe it's the personality, maybe it is because I don't see it, or it's not posted enough, maybe because I don't follow the Canucks or that. So I'm excited for that. I love to see players' personalities, and I know that the NHL is trying to grow the game, going that route. But I would love for players to be allowed to show more of their personality, show more of their everyday life and
Yeah.
their hobbies. I get a kick out of that, even knowing like half of my team, they're all like video gamers, and it's like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
that's cool, I guess. But I like it. Good choice.
I think it's a good choice too because of the three brothers, I think he's the most relatable of the personalities on the team, of the guys. And then I think they can also integrate the fact that there are two other brothers, right? You just do one brother and then you can maybe dip in and show a little bit of brother interaction with the other two. And yeah, I think, and he's the captain there.
Hmm.
So I think that's a good move to have. But we have to talk about a couple other things, and then we're going to get to the PWHL. But I saw this and I like evil laughed to myself when I saw this. So do you remember Cutter Gauthier, who
Hmm.
was originally supposed to play for the Flyers, and he pulled a super dramatic, don't you know who I am? I'm better than the Flyers organization. I don't want to play for you. And the Flyers were like, double middle fingers up to you. Fine, you can go. Who picked him up? The Anaheim Ducks. Like, good luck to you, fool. He did his rookie lap, like, because he played, of course, before this, because they weren't in the playoffs contention. He did his rookie lap, and I think there was like maybe 40 people in the stands at that game, like for his, his rookie lap. Like, nobody was there. That organization, the way that they spend money is not something that I think it's lacking. And good luck to you, Cutter.
I saw that. So here's the thing, and my thing on him. I don't I I love cocky players, that I love that. I love arrogant players, right? Because it's like, you know what? At least
I
they
do
have
too.
somewhat of personality. But not in this case, because I was like, who are you to go ahead and tell an NHL team, do you know who I am? You still have to prove yourself. Yeah, you're doing great for the national team. Yeah, you're killing it in college, but NHL level hockey is totally different. And I don't wish bad upon anybody, but in these situations, you're kind of like, you know what? I really hope you don't have that great of a career so you can see, or you're humbled that the NHL is very different. And I feel, being a Trevor Zegras fan, I feel like he got away with a lot of antics with the last management team, whereas
Mm-hmm.
this time around it's not gonna fly, because we saw it. It took them forever to get him a new contract, and I've
Mm-hmm.
heard through the grapevine that they didn't want to sign him. They didn't want to
No.
give him that extension because of his attitude. So if this guy thinks he's gonna come in to pull some crap like that, I think he's in for a rude awakening. And again, I don't wish people bad. Good luck to you, but to pull that off, it just like, no, you still have yet to play an NHL game. Like, what? I don't get it.
He wanted a team that was going to let him start in the NHL. He wanted a team that wasn't going to send him down to the minors, or have the potential to be sent down to the minors for training, which is what I'm sure Philly was going to. They probably told him, hey, listen, we need to assess you before we did give you a starting lineup spot. Like, that's not how this works, kid.
Yeah, you
But
need to prove
Anaheim
yourself.
but Anaheim has no problem doing that because they did that with Zegras and they did that with a couple other players, whose names are escaping me. One other player, I think, in recent years. And so I'm sure that's the direction that the Ducks are going. Fine, go there, Cutter. Good luck to you. Like, have fun when you play the Flyers.
That's
Like,
gonna be fun, and
I mean,
I kind of wanted the Flyers to make the playoffs so that you can see, okay, they went ahead and they made this trade. They
it
got
was brutal.
they got Jamie in return. It helped them make the playoffs. I would
Hmm.
have liked that because then you're like, all right, they won. As of now, they've won the trade, but that's definitely gonna be one of the games that I've circled. I'm gonna circle to attend when the
Oh,
Flyers
yeah.
do come out here to Anaheim. So that should be fun.
Oh, yeah. We've got, so the Yotes are officially in Utah. A bunch of the players and coaches and management, people who were able to, after the season ended, went out to see their new facilities. They did a whole big like fan welcome thing this weekend where the players got to pump up the crowd and introduce themselves. And it was really great to see that a lot of the players are embracing this move to Utah. I mean, you don't really have a choice. You either ask for a trade or you just embrace this new fan base. And I think most of them are just embracing the fan base and are happy to be playing in an arena bigger than 5,000 seats for attendees. And I'm just really glad I was able to get my Yotes shirt, my new vintage Yotes shirt. And if the team never returns to Arizona, I've got a little piece of history. So that's how I feel about the Yotes in Arizona and Utah. But I do think that the Utah fans are pumped. Like they were pumped. There were so many people lined up at the airport with signs when the plane came in. And I just can't wait to see where this franchise goes.
Yeah, I like to see that. I woke up and I saw all those videos and it warmed my heart to see that. They were received very well. It was so cute to see all the little kids with signs. I think I saw one like, "Oh, I skipped school to come see them." So that was nice. I love that the city's embracing them. I did see some comments in the comment section on Instagram where they were like, "Well, where was this support when they were playing exhibitions exhibition games in Utah?" Well, hello, they're not going to go support a team that's not theirs. I
Yeah.
said this time and time again. I didn't hate Las Vegas because it was beautiful to see. I was there for the draft, so it was beautiful to see half of that arena with Vegas Golden Knights gear. They had no idea who was even going to be part of the team, but they
No.
embraced it. They were excited. So for that arena to be packed, with fans excited to have hockey, in their city, that warmed my heart. That made me excited because, of course, I thought my first thought when this happened and when this went down was like, it sucks for the guys, it sucks for the teams, it sucks for the organization. But I like the warm welcome that they got. I love that they were received very well, and I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Something we are not excited about is Alma's newest fan ick. She experienced it. Tell everybody what your ick is.
Kids. No, just plain. Well, it has to do with that. Here's the thing. If you were, everybody's there, everybody goes to warm-ups. Yes, I'm an older woman. I'm not there to try to get, what is it, like book talk. I'm not there to try to get one of these players to see me and fall in love with me. That's not it. Okay, guys? I love to get there to warm-ups, to get pictures of the guys. I have friends that are, fans of certain players. So I like to snap a couple of pictures, send it to them because I love when my friends send me pictures of players they know that I like, right? So I get there early. As soon as the doors open, I am there to get my designated spot for warm-ups. This time was a little bit different because I was where my seat actually was for the game. So when I purchased the seat, I was like, you know what? It's perfect. I don't have to move. I'm already where I need to be. So it's going to be 15 minutes before, the guys come out for warm-ups, and a kid comes up and he just stands in front of me. Mind you, I'm sitting down. There's this much space between my knee and the glass. And he's standing in front of me and he's like, "Can you let me through?" And I was like, I'm waiting for the guys, I want a video, of the guys coming out to warm-ups, and then I can move, right? Because again, I want that. And then I kind of, when they come out of the ice, I like taking pictures. They have little, routines for warm-ups. But I had said that. I said, you know what? I'm not that much of a jerk. I'll go ahead and do that.
Mhm.
So I let him through, and, he sticks his little hand out for the players to fist bump him. He gets fist bumps. Okay, fine. They hand him a poster, and during warm-ups, he has his poster up on the glass. No, he has it before the players come out. And I sent you a picture of this because I was like, what's going on? And where are the
It
parents
was in
being
front
like,
of your face. Alma, it was
yeah,
in front of your face. This kid put a sign on the glass in front of your face.
yeah. And I just, Lana, come here. Yeah,
Exactly, Lana.
yeah,
Exactly.
she's mad. Yeah, so he's he has it in front of my face. He has it up during warm-ups too. And Lana, come here. He has it up during warm-ups too. And if he was my kid, I told him to put it down. I was like, hey, your poster is for Kevin Fiala. Kevin Fiala's not even here. When he comes up here, put your poster up. And I said, but you're blocking everybody behind you and you're blocking me. But where are the parents to say, hey, you know
Yeah.
what? What's it called? Put your poster down. Or until he comes off the ice, then put your poster up. And then
Yeah.
warm-ups are almost done. The players are coming out, and he proceeds to then again stand in front of me. And I said, look, I'll go ahead. I said, fine, get your fist bumps. And I said, but as soon as Adrian Kempe comes, I need you to completely move out of the way. And I said, because this is my seat, okay? You can, as soon as he comes, you move out of the way. And sure enough, he came and he knew it. He moved out of the way. I got a quick little video that I posted. I got my fist bump. I was happy, but I was like, where are the parents in this? If you want your kid to get a puck, a stick, get there when the doors open. Just because or buy the seat. Pay the hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
dollars to have your child sit there. And I
Mm-hmm.
was so pissed off because I'm like, yes, I will if I'm at the glass for warm-ups and little kid comes with a sign, I guarantee you 95% of the time I let them go in front of me. They're little nuggets.
Right.
I can see over them. Let them get their puck.
Exactly.
I'll help you get your puck. You have your sign, go for it. But when I paid money to sit there, like,
Mhm.
no, like where in the right mind do the parents think that is okay? And then not just that, again, get there early.
Yeah.
For yesterday, I knew I wasn't gonna go for warm up, so we went to see Mikey at Fan Fest. Went to see Mikey and Fan Fest, went to shop, got our snacks, got our drinks, went to our seat. I see this little kid out at Fan Fest. Okay, this is 6 o'clock. Okay, doors open at 6. Out at Fan Fest, mingling around, looking around. This time I'm sitting, my seats were across the bench. So I see him trying to make his way down behind the bench close to when warm-ups are going to start, and nobody let him through. And I was like,
Good.
good. If you want to be there early, you were already there early. Go inside. Go try to
Mm-hmm.
get you a warm-up spot. Don't expect
Go get your
privileges
spot
because,
early.
yeah, don't expect privileges because you're a kid. And that pisses me off. Where are the parents in all of this?
They don't care. Probably annoyed with their own kid.
go,
Just
go be somebody else's trouble.
the worst. That's unacceptable behavior, just like bottom line. And for him to even like, he's lucky. He's lucky he moved when you told him to move because I know you wouldn't have put up with that. And if he hadn't moved, I would have gone and gotten security. Like I don't even care. If you're unattended, you're a child unattended with no parents, I'm getting and those are your seats, like get out of here. And if the kid's being like a jackass, no. We don't need a bunch of little asshole kids growing up in this world. We've already got enough people like that in the world. Come on. You were in the right 100%, Alma.
So yes, parents, if you want your kids to get a puck, you want them to show off their sign, get there early. Get there when the doors open. There's plenty of glass where they can stand. And I promise you, I'm always one of the people that if that's my seat and somebody got there, it's just warm-ups, right? Just whatever. But even if you have a sign, be cautious, be aware, don't put it, everybody's there to take pictures. Everybody's there to see
Right.
players. Everybody's kind of there for the same thing. Don't take a sign yay big that's going to cover everything and everyone. Like, come on.
No.
Be mindful.
Yeah, kid needs to learn the rules here, the fan etiquette, and we've just told him. Meanwhile, in the PWHL, Canada ended up winning the IIHF tournament. They beat the USA, but it was a hell of a series and game. All of the series is to play. But we have to get ready for PWHL playoff action now because playoffs begin the week of May 6th. So a week from now, a lot of the spots have not been clinched yet. There is still a lot of action happening, so make sure you're watching the games. But what was most exciting, and I think for the players as well, was Minnesota and Ottawa painted their center ice with their logos. So this is really monumental, and I think is super cool to see. So Minnesota plays at the XL Energy Center, and because the Wild were eliminated from the playoffs, they just shaved the center ice logo off and put the PWHL Minnesota logo in the center, which I think is so cool and just helps solidify so much what's happening. They did it in Ottawa for their last home game at that arena. And then Minnesota also hung an inaugural season banner at the XL Energy Center to commemorate the season. And I just think this is so great to see these like the XL Energy Center being able to support their team and have the women there and show their banner and have the ice. We're making so many big strides, and I'm super, super excited for PWHL playoffs. What about you?
That gave me literal chills because to
Right?
see, yeah, I saw the logo in, center ice, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's happening. These girls are making history. It is awesome. The way these arenas are selling out. If anybody had a doubt that this was going to be, that this was not going to be successful, I am glad that the fans are showing up and showing out because it feels nice to prove people wrong, and I can't wait to see the league grow because I have no doubt that they're definitely going to expand to different to different cities. But to see the logo was just amazing. It was like I said, literal goosebumps. And then I was actually at I ended up at a Canadian bar in New York that was what they were watching the Canada and the
Yeah.
USA game, and it was packed for it. People were there to watch the game. Like I was just there to catch the end of the game and to watch the baseball game as well. But to see that much support, people showing up to bars to watch the game, that made me happy. That made me excited, and it's just so awesome to see. Like I said, there's nothing but good things to say about not just women in sports, but now these athletes, doing their thing, and it feels awesome. It feels I'm very proud to be a woman right now.
Me too. Me too. We have to talk about our hunks of the week. You want to kick off who's your hunk or gal of the week?
I'm gonna go ahead and give it to our mascot Bailey. I'm gonna send you the video. I forgot to. That should have been my viral video too. He was fighting what is it? Mexican luchadores yesterday before the game. And
No.
it's a cute little video clip. I have to send it to you. He got the crowd going. It was part of our like pre-game what is it? Fan fest. It was
Mhm.
awesome. And he, along with our in arena host, he keeps the crowd going. Like on Friday, he was supposedly gonna fight some Edmonton fans and told the security, hold me back, hold me back. So the fact that the mascot brings so much energy and he's so likable, that's my hunk of the week.
I can't with you. You're too adorable. That's fine. I will give it to you. The who can argue with that? I'm not arguing with that. My hunk of the week is Mikhail Sergachev of the Tampa Bay Lightning. This man broke his leg in two different places, maybe more. Facts are irrelevant. He was supposed to be out for the whole rest of the season and playoffs. He worked his butt off and both mentally and physically and returned to the ice for game 4, helping Tampa win that game, and he took a lot of strength from Stamkos, who had a similar injury before that could be career ending and very detrimental, and was able to recover and go on, and Stammer's won, Stanley Cups now. So that's my hug of the week. Gotta give mad respects to a person who can handle that mental and physical challenge and return to the ice and perform and contribute. So
that is awesome.
All right. We've got another round, first round of playoffs still happening this week. Lots of big games coming up and more to come. Thanks for coming over to our House of Hockey podcast and hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media. Just look for House of Hockey podcast. We'll be back next week.